Raunaq Yar Khan. So I was just looking for someone like Jai Ho, and I ran into Mr. Ramnamurthy, and he's become a solid support now because they have an organization. And I've been struggling to, have these events for Hindu-Muslim amity. I've been celebrating Holi for the last almost 50 years, and from the time I was a child, my parents used to host it for me, and then I started having my own parties when I was a teenager, and now I do it as a purpose for bridging communities. And I've got a doctorate for that, and I don't talk about it because then people think I'm doing it for a some kind of as a subject or something like that, as a professional thing. So I just get people together for Holi, and I put them all together so they can play and get comfortable with each other and enjoy themselves and have a sense of brotherhood. And it all started because this place is vast. As you can see, it's about an 80-acre place, which I give out for movies. It's on road number 25, very central also. So, when we played Holi here, it would not spoil any houses and all that. All my other friends, they lived in houses which were painted and the color would get spoiled with Holi colors and all that. So we started playing here. It became like a thing. And that time, nobody even thought it's a Hindu festival, Muslim festival, nothing. It's a festival. Somebody had to do it. It was convenience of place. I used to do it. And now later on, I've realized now it's become a like a situation where people have to be made comfortable with each other. So all this hatred kind of thing stops, and people cannot manipulate people. I mean, we should try and stop it as much as possible because people who love each other and they go at each other's throat because something ignites it catches on like a wildfire. So it has to be enough understanding where something starts, and immediately people are comfortable enough to talk to each other and stem it. You immediately stop it right there. So I've been doing this in the name of Mehboob Ali Khan, who is my great grandfather. He was the sixth Nizam and the most secular, and he was known to have done a yagna in the 1908 floods, according to Sir Vishwesharaya. And that's a very dangerous thing to get into the raging waters and do the yagna because he thought the majority of his subjects were Hindu, so he had to appease those gods also. So that's the background of Mehboob Ali Khan. And then after that, there was a railway engineer called Cyril Jones. He's written a book called Memoirs of Cyril Jones. The railway line from Hyderabad to Bombay was the first railway line, and he was the engineer, and it belonged to Mehboob Ali Khan. It was a private railway line. And he maintained a logbook about different things he came across while laying the track. So he met a lot of people who had made small domes, and they, kind of asked for favors at the dome, like you do for a deity. And maybe they treated the dome itself as a representation of Mehboob Ali Khan, and maybe they kept a deity. They have to go there and investigate. The closest place like that is 190 kilometers in Jatpur. One of my friends owns that place, so I'll probably go with him. But this place I'm talking about is Nanded. So people used to go and pray at the temples, and in Muslims it's very restricted to go and pray at go pray to a person. Like in Muslims are anyway just maybe 15% of the Indian population. In that, maybe 10 are Sunni who are not supposed to go to graves and all, or asking for favors. So leaves a very small portion, maybe 2-3%, and that too they have to be religious. So the majority of the people going, because the higher population was Hindus, because there's no restricting them. So all this is accounted very well by Sarojini Naidu, who was a very great author, freedom fighter, everything. She was a literary giant, and she's covered in a couple of letters in a book called Untold Charminar by Sayyida Imam. And she's incorporated a couple of Sarojini Naidu's letters, and she talks about different aspects of Mehboob Ali Khan and how after he died also people would go to his grave, and if you're starting a small business, you go and promise at the grave that you'll feed the poor, and in the name of Mehboob Ali Khan, if they succeed. So even after he died, people had faith in him. So while he was alive also, like she talked about in a letter why she could not make it to a meeting. She said it's almost like a family member dying. So I'm not saying it word to word, but she's saying it was so much of a shock. It's more than a loss of a family member. So there are many instances like that. So I decided to have it in the name because it's a perfect example of communal harmony. So I want to revive his name. And the last Nizam, they had some problem with the Razakas and all that. I don't think he was willingly involved, but he got manipulated or arm twisted into doing something. So last 2-3 years of the Nizam rule, which is 224 years, was spoiled, marred by the Razakas' intervention. So ignoring that, everybody from the beginning to end, starting from the first Nizam, and they were, meritorious. They belonged to the first Khalifa's line of, bloodline. The first Khalifa was after the Prophet passed away. The first Khalifa was chosen according to Ijma, which is consensus. So even there in Islam, there was like a voting. It was, the first the first Prophet, his succession was the first ever, the first example ever of a succession. And they did not choose a bloodline, they chose a person who was meritorious. I mean, who had the right merits for it. And his name was Abu Bakr Siddiqui, whose descendants the Nizams are. And even the first Nizam, he nominated his daughter's son called Muzaffar. His daughter was Khairunisa, and he had six, children who were all capable. At different times, three, four of them sat on the throne also. For some reason, they're not mentioned. I mean, there are reasons. I'm getting that investigated. No, that point, I'm coming to that point. I'm saying that they were very particular that had this Hindu-Muslim enmity from the very beginning. So I want to revive that tradition of the Nizams because they were ruling here till about 70 years back and they ruled for 240 years. There was perfect harmony except for maybe 2 years. So I'm trying to revive that, feeling between different communities. So I've been hosting this Holi for 50 years now. And it's becoming difficult for me because Holi is a little violent. People come drunk and they have bang, and then you can't make out who's who because they're all colored, and then people come with different relatives and they have a license to touch each other, and as a way of putting color. And some people don't like being touched by strangers, so it's a little difficult for me, and I'm getting old, so I can't handle it. So I've switched on to Sankranthi. So we've been flying kites in Sankranthi for the past several years, but now I want it to be a full-fledged, like a festival of Sankranthi, including all the all the things like all the connection, I mean all the things like pujas and all that, whatever goes into it, or the songs and the traditional things which go into it, components like dancing and the decorating the bulls. Yeah, so I have to like learn the story behind it. Certain things I don't know, but I'm learning now, and we're starting from today now with the support of Jai Bharat and Jai Ho. I can go a long way because I have a support system now. There's a structure there, and they know more about different faiths and all that. I have someone to study it and investigate into things and all that. So I'm going to take it forward from now on. So today is probably the first day where it's such a comprehensive kind of a celebration of Sankranti, not just flying kites, because people just fly kites. A lot of people don't know beyond that. And I want people to learn the culture of India.
Okay.
Maybe it's Hindu, maybe it's Muslim, whatever. It's a culture of India anyway. So it should be, appreciated by people. It should be explained properly. Like a lot of people don't know certain things they do. They don't even know why they're doing it, but they're doing it just because somebody else is doing it. So there's always a philosophy behind it. So I want to start an investigation of having scholars who will investigate into all that and educate other people. So at least why you're doing it. Maybe some things are traditional, some things are maybe superstitious, and some things are to do with religion. But all that is part of India.
Okay.
So I want that to come out.
Thank
So
you.
that